The average cost of daycare in America is $1,486 per month. Congress is extremely busy working for lobbyists, but what are they doing to help us Americans at a time where the birth rate is at an all-time low at 1.6 children per woman? Here's a simple way to address this issue. If they completely cut federal income tax for families with children under 5 for the first $200K, it would ease that financial burden of having children at a time where inflation is extremely high. The average tax cut would cost about $10K per family, which would cost the government about $100 billion in tax revenue. It seems like a lot of money, but in reality, our defense budget is scheduled to be $1 trillion for 2010, right? Which seems like a lot of money for a country that's not at war. Maybe if our government spent a little less time instigating wars and focused more of their attention on us, the people that actually keep the lights on, the backbone of this country, instead of appeasing their corporate lobbyists, we could actually make some meaningful change for once. Why is it that you never see Congress proposing like any bills that actually benefit American citizens? The answer is that they're preoccupied. For example, in March of 2024, Representative Mike Gallagher, he proposed a deal to force the sale of TikTok under the pretense that China was manipulating what we saw online, right? A month later, in April, the bill passes. Gallagher ends up resigning and joins the private sector. And what? A year later, TikTok is sold to a group that includes the largest donor to the Israeli military, Larry Ellison, the second richest man in the world, a man who lets the prime minister of Israel vacation on his private island. He even calls Israel our home in his philanthropic statements. But when it's time to decrease the cost of insulin, it takes years for that stuff to pass. He did it in a month. And even when these things do pass, they expire. No one's checking in on this stuff. No one's looking out for us on our behalf. We have to create our own publicly funded lobby, right? A group outside of the government that can pass bills on our behalf and remove these officials doing exactly what the government's supposed to do. According to like a Stanford study in 2014, right? They said the average citizen has nearly no influence on US policy, right? Like more than 70% of us want to ban Congress from insider trading, want to set term limits, ban corporate lobbying, none of which have happened, right? But a foreign country wants to police what we see on TikTok, and within a little bit over a month, they're able to force the sale of a company in our so-called capitalist country. They force the sale because they're organized and they have the power. You are not mad enough.